Hi guys, my name's Tom and this is episode 2 of Watercolour Bites. Nutritious, delicious and easily digestible hits of information to help you progress your painting. I definitely recommend hopping back and checking out episode 1, which really lays the foundations for this video, where we're taking a deeper look at the difference and relationship between tonal values and colour. So tone is how dark or light something is, whereas colour has a tone, but it also has a hue, which as we saw in the last video is where it sits on the colour wheel. And of course a colour has a chroma, but for this video we are going to keep it simple. So tonal value is pretty straightforward when we're trying to place a grey swatch on a value scale. When we have it in the right place, on the scale for its value, obviously we can't see it anymore. However, working out where a colour other than neutral grey sits on the same scale, i.e. working out a colour's tone, can be much trickier, and some colours are easier than others. So here we have a red, and we can have a lighter red, and we can have a darker red, and a whole host of different reds in between. So now let's drop these reds down onto the grayscale and try and find their correct tonal value. Notice how the very bright high chroma red is much harder to place than the more subdued low chroma, more greyed reds. So even though that high chroma red looks very out of place on its chosen tonal strip, if we now turn this into a monochrome image, we can see straight away that all three colours are on the right tonal strip for their tonal value. And also notice that I'm not aiming to get it exactly right, but it's as good as possible and certainly good enough for when we're analysing tone in a painting. So just for fun, depending on your definition of fun, let's take a whole load of other colours and do the same thing. I've gone for a real mixture of different tones here, as well as kind of grey lower chroma colours and much higher chroma saturated colours. Let's give it a go. So pop them down onto the grayscale to their corresponding value, and I've purposely got a few of these wrong, so have a quick look and see if you can spot which ones are not in the right place, and then we're going to drop it into grayscale and have a quick look. So there are a couple of awkward ones that don't perfectly fit into a structured tonal value in this particular scale, but you can see there's maybe 4 there that are wrong. So let's give those a quick rearrange and try again. This next bit could be viewed as a bit of an oversimplification, but when I'm teaching I often talk about tonal values being literally how we see the world. And whilst for whatever reason they are open to change in perception, interpretation and manipulation, overall, dare I say, we could look at them as being more objective. And then I often say that colour is more how we feel the world, and our perception of colour can change very dramatically, again for many reasons, and we could definitely call colour a little more subjective. But what do I really mean by this? So let's look at some further examples. We could turn the whole world around us into monotone grayscale and it would still make sense. For example, take this photo of one of my students painting out in France. We turn it into grayscale and yet we can still tell exactly what's going on, we can still see all the detail, and even more than that, we actually have a really lovely feeling of strong sunlight and a very strong visual design based upon that tone. None of that is dependent on colour. And we can have the same image tonally, but changing the colour can really alter the feel, and it will still read fine visually. So for example, with this image on the left, if we shift it to a slightly different hue and a different part of the colour wheel, we get a much cooler looking painting. The tone has remained exactly the same, but the colours have got a more blue, purpley, cooler feel to them, and it feels very different. However, if we then shift it again, keeping exactly the same tone, with all the hues to a different part of the colour wheel, where everything is slightly warmer, slightly more orangey and red, again the whole painting feels much warmer and it has a different feel to it. Now this isn't to say that altering an image tonally won't change the feel, but again, let's keep it really simple for now. Okay, so let's quickly take a closer look at this. If we look at the image in the top right hand corner, this is the cooler image from the previous slide, and it's not that there's no yellow or no orange or no red in it, but the bias is heavily towards this cooler section of the colour wheel, which is the much cooler greens that have less yellow in them and much more blues and purples. And then if we go down to the middle image on the bottom, this is a very extreme warm image, and it feels completely different from the cooler image. Even though the tone is exactly the same, it feels more like a very hot desert setting, or a sunset or a sunrise. Maybe a little bit extreme, but that's sort of ballpark. And then if we go to the top left image, this sits on a much more yellowy part of the colour wheel. If you look at the greens, for example, they have much more yellow in them. The yellow is much more yellowy and high chroma, and the overall feeling, although the tone is the same as the other two, is that of a much stronger feeling of sunlight. So next, let's look at the same sort of principle, but more in relation to chroma and saturation of colour. If we take this image in the middle of the colour wheel, remember that the colour wheel has the highest chroma, most intense colours around the edge, and this particular colour wheel, as we move into the middle, the colours become more greyed and more subdued. So this particular image has much less intensity of colour. If you compare it to the other image, you can see all of the colours are much more grey, much more gentle, and therefore they're much more like the colours in the middle of the colour wheel. And although there are some warm colours in there, the bias is also very much towards the cooler side of the colour wheel. And then this other image sitting on the edge of the colour wheel, so the much higher chroma, more intense section of it, very much has a bias towards those magentas, those very high chroma reds, a lot of strong oranges, and even some strong purples. Although note that the painting or the image as a whole is a high chroma image, so even the blues in the bag and some of the greens in the foliage are also very high chroma colours. So this is a very high chroma piece with a bias towards the magentas, the reds, the warm side of the colour wheel. And again, just look at how different these feel. Desaturated, slightly cooler bias on the left, and heavily high chroma saturated colours with a real bias towards warmth on the right. Exactly the same tone, but a very different feel. And as always, this is all very well, but what does it actually all mean? So let's look at it practically. Number one, if a painting does work tonally, i.e. it has a good pattern of value that have been well considered, we can actually use any hues that we like, i.e. we can make it any colour we like. Let's take this watercolour elephant that I painted, for example. You could say that all the colours are quite unrealistic, whatever that means, and a lot of the colours are actually quite high chroma, yet when we look at it tonally, it still makes sense. And you guessed it, this is because the tonal values hold a painting together. However, if we only focus on colour and we forget about tone, which is very easily done because colour can be very beguiling and very exciting, we will most likely end up with a big colourful mess. And hopefully you guessed it, if we ignore tone, a painting doesn't hold together, or it's very unlikely to. So let's wrap it up by saying that we must be aware of tonal values, plus the importance of their roles in creating a strong visual message. And this is the same whatever your subject, style or approach. And this is why learning to see and understand tone and how to translate this into a painting in many ways is the dominant underlying principle in all good painting. And why there's going to be loads more on tonal values in the next video. So that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you got something out of it. Please do consider subscribing if you want to stay up to date with new videos. And giving this a share on your favourite social media platform is a huge help to me, as is a thumbs up. For more in-depth tutorials, real-time paintings, live demos and loads more, you can hop over to my Patreon page. All the links in the description, and you can find me on Instagram at TomShepherdArtist. Until next time guys, happy living, happy creating, and I'll see you soon.